Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today we're diving into Black Squad and analysing why this game is the best free-to-play first-person shooter on Steam. Gameplay-wise, Black Squad is fantastic, with the movement and shooting mechanics beating every other free-to-play first-person shooter out there, with its perfect balance of fun and competitiveness. From first glance, Black Squad feels eerily similar to CSGO, however the differences while playing are significant. The most noticeable is that pulling out your knife is equivalent to a full sprint versus slight run in CSGO, along with weapon accuracy being maintained while moving. This means Black Squad's gameplay is much faster and more chaotic than CSGO, with walking and crouching not necessarily being required to go and kill someone. This in combination with the fast time to kill and headshot-centric combat results in Black Squad being perfect for a casual team deathmatch player, but also perfect for a competitive mind fragger wanting to master the game and rise up the ranked ladder. In particular, I'm extremely fond of the sniping, with flash scoping and quick scoping being possible but extremely risky. If you're good enough, you can dominate players at all ranges, but miss and you'll die to a nicely placed assault rifle headshot. This risk and reward type gameplay plays out not only in the combat, but also in terms of gaining positions through the sprint mechanic. So getting caught with your pants down from going one position to another is possible, but the potential frags are tantalizing after getting a really nice flank. Overall, the gameplay is solid, clean and enjoyable, and to put it simply, easy to pick up but hard to master. This naturally leads into the amount of choice players have on how to go and play the game. Quick match, custom rooms, ranked, clan and even tournaments, the possibilities are expansive. The amount of modes are impressive as well, with team deathmatch and the chaotic 32 player destruction leading the casual charge. Hop into the private match channel and sniper lobbies are abound, along with other weapon specific modes like shotgun only and melee only. Competitive focuses on 5v5 bomb defusal and rounds out the possible ways to play Iron Sight along with a PvE mode in special timed events. In the end, there is always something to go and do, instead of it being the same old every single time, and this game exists more as a community driven shooter like Combat Arms rather than a purely matchmaking focused one like Iron Sight. Moving on to the available weapons, there is a wide selection to choose from. Hard-hitting and sprayable assault rifles, shotguns, submachine guns, light machine guns, and of course snipers. Each category has their favourites, a clear example being the one-shot snipers over the semi-automatics, but each one-shot sniper has slight differences in damage, range, reload time, etc. This results in the weapons being fair, but also allows the player to go and pick up a gun that optimizes their playstyle, and this plays out not only in the snipers, but also in the assault rifles and the submachine guns as well. The next question is, how do you unlock these weapons? And Black Squad's answer is extremely smart. Through playing matches you gain gold, which can be used to buy a variety of weapons in the shop. However, there is another in-game currency called medals, which are earned by ranking up, doing challenges and logging in. This means medals are significantly harder to go and get and requires playing a game a lot more, but rewards you with unlocks of the cooler weapons without going and paying any real world money. Furthermore, while I'm not the biggest fan of the loot box system for skins, the availability of these skins on the Steam marketplace makes it easy to get weapons for cheap without grinding for medals, with tons of skins going for 8 cents a pop. While I could talk about the clan scene or ranked or competitive, I don't have any experience in those areas. I've watched tournaments and ranked games on YouTube and they seem great, but that's something more to go and experience yourself because I can't really provide much insight in those areas. What I can comment on, however, is the player base, which is still going strong more than 1 year after Black Squad's release. A monthly peak of 12,000 players is not something to laugh at, resulting in solid player bases across each of the 5 servers: Europe, North America, South America, East Asia, and Southeast Asia. For Australian players, your ping will be around 200 to the Southeast Asian server, which obviously isn't the best, but besides from rather irregular teleporting, the experience is generally fine. So let's move on to the things I'm not so keen about, starting off with the maps. While functional and purpose-built for the respective modes, there isn't many maps in this game that stand out as a true winner. Generally, there are 2 to 3 linear paths, some close areas, and long lines of sight, with the better maps coming out of the bomb diffuser mode. If you look at the original Team Deathmatch modes for Black Squad, they are generally symmetrical and they get quite boring. So what the developers have gone and done, they've imported in the bomb diffuser modes into Team Deathmatch, and that overall makes the mode a lot more enjoyable. I'm generally a Team Deathmatch player, and having these more fleshed out maps in this mode is a very, very welcome breath of fresh air. Though with that said, there is nothing like a Dust 2 or a really iconic map that really goes and shows what Black Squad has to go and offer. The attention to detail just isn't at the same level. Now admittedly, I am comparing a small Korean developer versus a juggernaut like Valve, however, you still have to go and consider that this game is a competitor to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, a free-to-play alternative, and thus you have to go and compare elements. And the maps is where it really goes and falters, because a lot of the time, I don't really care what map I'm playing on, because it just feels quite samey, quite bland, quite generic, quite lifeless. And a big part of the experience of a first-person shooter is being immersed in your environment, and I just don't really feel that. The gameplay is what I'm focused on most of the time because that's what I really enjoy, but the map, it's simply just there and doesn't really go and add to the experience in any way, shape or form. The next factor is sadly related to the core game itself, and it's the performance. I don't know if it's just me, but Black Squad runs terribly on my gaming PC. Admittedly, my specs aren't the best, but with a 2nd gen i7, 32 gigs of RAM and the GTX 970, I should be able to play this game at a comfortable 200 frames per second at high graphics, like every other free-to-play first-person shooter out there. Instead, I barely crack 100 FPS on the lower settings, and the most unappealing part of all of this is the constant hitching and frame drops that ruins the normally fluid gameplay. I've googled around and it seems like that this game just isn't optimized very well. And it's a bit of a shame because this is a big reason why it's difficult for me to go and play. This might only be an issue for a small percentage of you guys out there, but it's something I wanted to go and point out, and furthermore ask for help about since no other free-to-play FPS hits my PC this hard. When you look at the recommended specifications and the minimum specifications, this game should be able to go and run on quite low spec PCs, and from what I can go and see, a lot of people do run this game quite well on bad computers. It seems like there is a bit of an optimization issue with some rigs, with mine being a particular example, where I just can't go and run it well, and I'm not willing to go and compromise by reducing my resolution since I like putting out 1080p gameplay for you guys. It's a bit of an issue and it kind of upsets my experience, and overall is a big reason why I can't really play this game much, because it just breaks the immersion, and when your immersion is broken, it just completely just fragments the experience, in my opinion at least. Despite this issue, Black Squad is by far the best free-to-play first-person shooter on Steam, and arguably the best free-to-play first-person shooter out right now. Fantastic gameplay, a wide selection of modes and queues along with an active community. Black Squad is the game to play if you want an easy to pick up but hard to put down shooter. If we compare this game to its competitors out there, which I go and consider to be Combat Arms and Iron Sight, those two games, I'd say less Combat Arms and more Iron Sight, are the ones that you could potentially go and play instead of Black Squad. Now, Iron Sight is a game that is a fundamentally different experience. It is very much based around Call of Duty, running and gunning, getting right up in people's faces, spraying your submachine gun, and overall the time to kill is a lot lower. Black Squad, it's more of a tactical first-person shooter, very analogous to, let's say, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And so therefore, you've got two sides of the spectrum. A lot of people like to go and compare these games and say this one's better than this one, but I would go and say that you can play these two games in tandem. If you want more of a brainless experience, to be perfectly honest, you can go and hop on the Iron Sight, put on a submachine gun, and just go to town. But if you want to go and think a little bit more and have a bit more depth to your gameplay, I would say Black Squad is the game to really go and play. I've gone and played Iron Sight, I'd say admittedly a lot more than Black Squad simply because of the performance issue. And gradually that game gets tedious because you're kind of doing the same thing every single game. You're running around, you're shooting people, you're running around and shooting people. Yes, you can go and play Search and Destroy, but it's just matchmaking, you just hop in, and there isn't much variety. There is variety, but there isn't as much variety as Black Squad. You have a look at Black Squad, you've got the quick match queue, you've got the private, you've got the competitive, you've got the rank queue. There's so many ways you can go and play this game, from a very casual perspective, just hopping into a team deathmatch and spraying around the submachine gun, to a very competitive perspective, trying to go and win the match and climb the ranked ladder. That type of difference, you don't really see that in Iron Sight. Everything, the lines just kind of blur. Yes, you have the ranked queue, but that isn't very active. And overall, that game isn't as active as this one. I know it's not a factor I should be considering, but a lot of people go and value it. And Black Squad is a much more active game than Iron Sight. And people want to go and invest time into a game that they think is going to go and survive. I'm not saying that Iron Sight isn't going to go and survive, but at this point, Blackshot is your more safe bet. It's on the Steam store, it has a very good active community, and people are going to be playing it for a very long time, because in the end of it, it provides a CSGO-ish experience with some benefits and some negatives, but at a free-to-play price tag, and that is simply unbeatable. Not paying for something is very, very good, and the progression is very fair, and overall the game is quite solid. So overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to go and like and subscribe, or dislike the video if you didn't. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, out.